If you're counting on your Social Security payment to arrive on schedule this January, there's critical information you need to know right now. The Social Security Administration has just released an urgent update affecting millions of beneficiaries, and the timing couldn't be more important. Whether you receive retirement benefits, SSI, or SSDI payments, changes to January's deposit schedule could impact when your money hits your account. And understanding these changes today could mean the difference between financial peace of mind and unnecessary stress. Here's what's happening. Due to federal banking regulations and weekend payment adjustments, several payment dates have shifted this month. Some beneficiaries will actually receive their funds earlier than expected, while others might see slight delays. The midnight alert we're discussing today involves specific birth date groups and payment types that are seeing the most significant schedule changes. What makes this particularly crucial is that thousands of seniors have already reported confusion at their banks, with some seeing pending deposits appear at unusual times. If you're enrolled in direct deposit, use a Direct Express card, or still receive paper checks, each method has different implications under these new timeline adjustments. The SSA has confirmed that approximately 70 million Americans will be affected by these January modifications, making this one of the most widespread payment updates in recent months. Let me break down exactly what's happening with your Social Security payments this January and why you need to pay close attention to every detail I'm about to share with you. The Social Security Administration operates on a very specific payment calendar, and when that calendar intersects with federal holidays, weekends, and banking regulations, things can get complicated fast. This month presents a unique situation that hasn't occurred in quite some time, and understanding how it affects your specific payment type and schedule is absolutely essential for your financial planning. First, let's talk about the regular Social Security retirement payment schedule, because this forms the foundation of everything else. The SSA has maintained the same basic structure for years now. If you started receiving benefits before May 1997, your payment arrives on the 3rd of every month, no exceptions, unless that date falls on a weekend or holiday. For everyone who started receiving benefits after May 1997, your payment date depends entirely on your birth date. If you were born between the 1st and 10th of any month, your payment comes on the 2nd Wednesday. Those born between the 11th and 20th receive payments on the 3rd Wednesday, and if your birthday falls between the 21st and 31st, you get paid on the 4th Wednesday of each month. This system has been in place for a long time, but January 2025 throws some curveballs into this otherwise predictable system. Now, here's where things get interesting and where you really need to pay attention. January 3rd falls on a Friday this year, which means those early beneficiaries who normally receive payments on the 3rd will get their money right on schedule without any adjustments. That's the good news for that group. However, when we start looking at the Wednesday payment schedule for birth date groups, we need to examine each week of January very carefully. The 2nd Wednesday of January falls on the 8th, the 3rd Wednesday lands on the 15th, and the 4th Wednesday comes on the 22nd. All of these dates fall on actual weekdays with no federal holidays interfering, which means those payments will process as normally scheduled without any early releases or delays. But let's shift gears and talk about SSI payments, because this is where the January situation becomes absolutely critical for millions of Americans. Supplemental Security income operates on a completely different schedule than regular Social Security retirement benefits, and this difference causes significant confusion every single month. SSI payments are designed to arrive on the 1st of every month. The challenge is that when the 1st falls on a weekend or federal holiday, the payment gets moved to the last banking day of the previous month. This creates a situation where SSI recipients sometimes receive 2 payments in one calendar month and then no payment the following month, which can be incredibly confusing if you're not prepared for it. In January's case specifically, the 1st falls on a Wednesday, which is a regular banking day with no holidays. This means SSI recipients will receive their January payment right on schedule on January 1st. However, and this is crucial, Many SSI recipients actually received their January payment at the end of December because of how the banking system processed the New Year's holiday schedule. Some banks release these funds as early as December 30th or 31st, which is why you might have already seen this money in your account, even though we're talking about January payments. The midnight alert aspect comes into play because many beneficiaries checked their accounts right after midnight on January 1st and saw pending deposits that cleared in the very early morning hours. Let me explain the SSDI situation now because Social Security Disability Insurance follows yet another set of rules that combines elements of both regular retirement benefits and SSI. If you receive SSDI and you started receiving benefits before May 1997, you're grouped with the third of the month payment crowd. Your January payment arrived on January 3rd, along with the early retirees. If you started receiving SSDI after May 1997, you follow the birth date Wednesday schedule just like regular retirement beneficiaries. This means your payment timing depends entirely on which day of the month you were born, using that same structure I outlined earlier with the second, third, and fourth Wednesday distributions. What makes this January particularly noteworthy is the way banking institutions are handling the transition from December into the new year. Banks and credit unions across the United States have different processing times and different policies about when they release federal payments. The Social Security Administration actually sends payment data to financial institutions several days before the official payment date. Most banks hold that money and release it precisely on the payment date, but some banks have policies that allow early access to federal benefits. This creates a situation where two people receiving the exact same type of benefit on the exact same schedule might see their money become available on different days, depending entirely on their banking institution's internal policies. The Direct Express card program adds another layer to this entire discussion. Direct Express is the debit card option that the Treasury Department offers specifically for people receiving federal benefits. If you use Direct Express instead of having payments deposited into a traditional bank account, your payment timing can be slightly different. Direct Express typically makes funds available at midnight Eastern Time on the payment date, which means people on the West Coast can access their money at 9 p.m. Pacific Time the night before the official payment date. This midnight release is part of what's creating the breaking alert situation we're discussing today because beneficiaries across different time zones are seeing their payments appear at different local times, even though it's the same moment in actual time. Now let's address something that causes tremendous confusion and worry every single month, and that's the difference between pending deposits and available funds. When you log into your bank account or check your Direct Express balance, you might see a pending transaction showing your Social Security payment several days before the money is actually available to spend. This pending status means your bank has received notification that the payment is coming, but they haven't yet released it for your use. Different banks display this information differently. Some will show it clearly labeled as pending, while others might include it in your available balance even though you can't actually access it yet. This discrepancy causes people to panic when they try to withdraw money or pay bills and discover the funds aren't truly available despite showing up in their account. The payment verification process is something else that deserves detailed explanation because it directly impacts when you can actually use your money. The Social Security Administration sends payment files to the Treasury Department, which then distributes that information to the automated clearinghouse network that connects all banks and financial institutions. This ACH process takes time, usually about 2 to 3 business days. The actual date printed on your payment notice from Social Security is the date the money is supposed to be available to you, not necessarily the date it first appears in your account system. Understanding this distinction helps prevent the frustration of seeing money listed but not being able to spend it. There's also the matter of payment amounts and how they might change in January specifically. Every January brings the annual cost of living adjustment, commonly called COLA. For 2025, the COLA increase is 2.5%, which means your payment amount should be slightly higher than what you received in December 2024. This increase applies to Social Security retirement, survivor benefits, and SSDI, but it's calculated slightly differently for SSI recipients. The SSI increase also reflects the 2.5% adjustment. But because SSI is needs-based and factors in other income, the actual dollar amount increase might vary from person to person. When you receive your January payment, you should carefully verify that this increase has been properly applied to your benefit amount. Medicare Part B premiums also typically change in January, and because most Social Security beneficiaries have their Part B premiums automatically deducted from their monthly benefits, this affects your net payment amount. For 2025, the standard Part B premium increased to $185 per month, up from $174.70 in 2024. This means even with the COLA increase, your actual take-home amount might not increase by the full 2.5% because the premium deduction is also going up. Some beneficiaries are protected by hold harmless provisions that prevent their Social Security payment from decreasing due to Medicare premium increases, but not everyone qualifies for this protection. The taxation aspect of Social Security benefits is another January consideration that affects many recipients. Depending on your total household income, anywhere from 0 to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be subject to federal income tax. Some people choose to have taxes withheld directly from their monthly benefit payment by filing Form W-4V with the Social Security Administration. If you have tax withholding set up, this comes out of your payment before it reaches your bank account, which affects the amount you see deposited. January is also when many people review their withholding choices for the new year, and if you made changes to your withholding in late 2024, those changes should be reflected in your January payment. Let's talk about what to do if your payment doesn't arrive when expected, because this is a real concern for millions of beneficiaries. The first step is to wait until 3 business days after your scheduled payment date before taking any action. The reason for this waiting period is that even though payments are scheduled for specific dates, occasional processing delays can occur that might push your actual receipt back by a day or two. If 3 business days pass and you still haven't received your payment, then it's time to contact your bank first to confirm they haven't received any deposit notification. Sometimes the issue is on the banking side rather than the Social Security side, and your bank can tell you whether they've received any incoming federal payment information for your account. If your bank confirms they haven't received anything, your next step is to contact the Social Security Administration directly. You can call their national toll-free number at 1-800-772-1213, and they're available Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. When you call, be prepared with your Social Security number, your direct deposit information, and details about when you expected to receive your payment. The representatives can look up your payment record and tell you exactly when your payment was sent and where it was sent. In rare cases, payments can be misdirected or returned due to closed accounts or incorrect banking information, and the SSA can help you resolve these situations. The security of your Social Security payment information is critically important, especially in January when scammers often increase their activity. You need to understand that the Social Security Administration will never call you and demand immediate payment, threaten to suspend your benefits unless you provide personal information, or ask you to pay them with gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency. If someone contacts you claiming to be from Social Security and asking for personal information or money, hang up immediately. You can always call the official SSA number yourself if you're concerned about your account or benefits. Many seniors lose thousands of dollars to these scams every year, and January seems to be a particularly active time for these criminals. Your payment method matters significantly when it comes to security and access to your funds. Direct deposit into a bank account is the most secure and fastest way to receive your benefits. Paper checks, while still available, come with multiple disadvantages, including theft risk, mail delays, and the time required to deposit or cash the check. If you're still receiving paper checks, you should seriously consider switching to direct deposit or direct express. The Social Security Administration strongly encourages electronic payment methods, and setting this up is relatively simple through their online portal or by calling their customer service line. Understanding all these January payment details helps you plan your budget, avoid unnecessary worry, and recognize when something genuinely requires your attention versus when everything is proceeding normally. The Social Security system processes billions of dollars in payments every month to tens of millions of Americans, and while it generally works smoothly, the complexity of the system means individual situations can vary. Your specific payment date depends on your benefit type, when you started receiving benefits, your birth date for certain programs, and how your financial institution processes federal payments.